Roll call for Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. There you go, Nick Roush. Nick Roush batting leadoff today here on the KSR Takeover Tuesday. We are live on the KSR YouTube channel as well as 96.1 1450. This is going to be a fun show. Nick Roush, as I said, is already up here in the stream. We'll have Zack Geoghegan and Brandon Ramsey, the Zoom action guys. Nick Roush talking some Kentucky basketball.
Zoom.
Hell yeah.
They got to be Zoom Diallo's number one fan, right? Well, they got to get him on the show.
You got to be zooming with Zoom.
Oh, wow. Zooming with Zoom on Zoom.
Dynasties.
Oh, my gosh. It's a lot. It's a lot of crossover.
Yeah. We'll have them on, and we're going to play a little game with them that we're starting up here on a Tuesday, maybe a little Tuesday tradition, Nick. But the first thing I got to talk to you about, Nick Roush, is you're the horse guy. What the hell was going on in Louisville yesterday?
Horses running crazy. You'll never believe this, Peak, but they decided to go horsing around.
Yeah,
that was bad. That was so bad. Trevor, you suck it, pal. Okay? All right. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit here. I did, when I actually wrote about it this morning, I had at least 3 really bad jokes. What
were the other 2?
Well, the one at the so essentially what happened, to describe the story quickly, I'm sure you saw the clip, but a horse van is what they call them. Essentially, it's a trailer, but a horse van carrying 5 of Kenny McPeak's horses. They were going from Churchill to Keeneland. They're stopping traffic, and somebody rear ends them, and it opens up the back of the trailer. 2 of the horses get out. One of them they quickly wrangle, but another one gets away and runs down into sort of the grassy area between ramps. And that's when a bystander, which I don't know how eager I would have been to do this or not. I'm comfortable around horses, but am I willing to jump out of the expressway to try to grab one who's running free? I don't know. But they realize, okay, we need some sort of lead. Like I can grab onto him, but that's a little too close. I need something. So they asked another bystander, do you have like a hand? They asked for nobody has like a leather horse lead just in their car, right? But a woman did hand another woman her purse strap to attach and hook on to the bridle to be able to like hold on to this horse at a safe distance and kind of hang out with him until they were able to lead it back onto the trailer. So, which led me to my joke, once again, I'm leading with this to let you know that it is very bad. To say that, the next time this horse decides to get around, hopefully she learns this lesson. If you're going to stroll around Louisville, first use your turn signal and don't forget to bring your purse. It wasn't Philly after all, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, very bad. Like Trevor right now is seething at this bad joke.
Trevor, what do you think about it?
Where am I at?
No, he doesn't know how to market microphones.
I forget. When we do KSR takeover, Trevor has to turn on like 3 mics to talk.
Oh, heaven forbid Trevor has to work. Oh gosh.
And we all know Trevor's not good at turning anything on. So, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you say a good joke.
Boom.
There we go. But yeah, luckily none of the horses got injured. Peak, they're good to go. But it does feel like we're getting more and more of these weird stories. Maybe we should shut down 65 every summer and just see how weird it gets.
We got the can opener. We talked about that last week. What is it up to now? Was it 19 the last I checked, or was it 13? I can't remember.
I knew it got to 13. I don't know about 19, but it did. Okay. Do you know who Joe Girth is, Stephen Peak? Which
no.
I'm derailing the show right away, but
that's what you're here for.
It's June 23rd. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad. So do you know? Are you aware of Joe Girth?
No,
Mr. Peak. So he is a Courier Journal columnist, and he usually has takes that just make people seethe, right? Like he's the kind of guy that your dad says, that damn liberal Joe Girth wrote this again. Like he knows how to strike a chord, and sometimes it is a little like way over the top. This is a Looney Tune idea, but he brought up what was a very controversial topic when we were children, and when Trevor was getting into trouble and lots of trouble. Probably like Western Kentucky days, maybe. Do you remember 8664, Peak?
No, what should I know that?
Just Trevor, do you remember 8664?
No, isn't that what Trump is mad about?
No, that was a different 86.
Oh, my bad.
So
86 is when Louisville won the title. I know that.
Yeah.
The last one they won.
Yeah, last one. So 8664 was. I just remember the signs, and I didn't know what it was at the time, but there were signs in yards all over the place, and people, they got a little worked up over it. And the movement 86 is to like eliminate somebody. Like it's like
right. Yeah. We got that.
It was to get rid of the expressway from Spaghetti Junction to the Sherman Minton Bridge. They said it's an eyesore. We want to get rid of this because it looks ugly, and there's not that many people that use it anyway, and this will be a way that'll connect them closer to downtown. And the proposal was that, well, instead of having it be like this huge interstate, you make it like Lakeshore Drive, where it's like a wide highway that kind of winds around on the street level. The reason that it, like, obviously it didn't have a lot of popularity back then, but the I-65 shutdown inspired Joe Gerth to say, hey, what if we did that 80? Remember that 86-64 thing? What if we gave it a try again? Because like I haven't noticed a ton of shutdown. Like how many people are driving downtown to work anymore anyway? I know schools aren't in right now, but like are a ton of school buses on 64 in downtown. Could we make this work? Peak, are you for this radical idea? Do we think it could possibly work if you take away the interstate from downtown Louisville?
Why would it wouldn't make my commute any longer to downtown, I guess? Because I take 65, so I don't really mess with 64 all that much.
So I think is his best argument is that how many people even mess with that stretch of road anyway, right? Like it's basically for people who are just driving through the state of Kentucky, because if you are coming from the East End, you could just get off instead of getting off on 3rd Street. My initial pushback was that I kind of like the downtown highway because you see it, like you get a cool view of the city from that vantage point.
Okay. And
the other part that I liked about it is whenever they do something at Waterfront Park, it gives you shade.
That's true. It does. That's big for Thunder, Waterfront Wednesdays.
Yeah, like when Forecastle was going on, that was a lifesaver. Like the that was a refuge. But I could see a little bit more merit to it now than maybe in the past. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of a fun way to kick around because I know some people were very passionate about it, 20 years ago, and I'm wondering if people still have spicy takes about it, considering we are in the middle of a huge interstate project right now.
I would rather there be no more interstate projects, honestly. But I'm actually surprised. There has not been too much traffic on 65, or too much traffic, I guess, throughout the city. It's been a little bit rough, but I know my wife, she has to take that. She takes that route every day, and she's told me it hasn't really been that bad. I wonder, are people just staying home? Are they having more people work from home during this 65 shutdown? Is that what's going on, Nick?
I think generally speaking, just not many people work downtown anymore in downtown Louisville.
How are those businesses staying open? All the ones that provided lunch and everything for all the people who used to work down there.
That I know that some of them have just shut down, and like Humana's moved out. They're turning 2 office buildings into hotels, so like that kind of tells you where we're at. But ultimately, that'll be a good thing because tourism is pretty big right now. This is me just continuing random thoughts, but like the bourbon industry has even though bourbon output is not doing well, it's doing so poorly that Jim Beam is actually not producing any bourbon this year. Like they're just shutting down their distilling options for operations for a year because the supply is higher than demand. But the tourism industry is booming. So like it's more specialty. people our age aren't drinking as much. A bunch of weenies, if you ask me. Like, guys,
it's way down. Like, it's way, way down.
Insane. All these damn Zoomers are afraid to open up a cocktail, living these healthy lifestyles. Bunch of dorks.
Drinking Zimas.
Yeah,
we're good. We're good over here.
All right, Trevor, you're really dating yourself with the Zima reference there.
Did you say Zima?
Yeah, Zima, which that was even out of style when I started stealing drinks from my parents when I was in high school. That's
what do the kids call it now? White Claw?
Yeah, it'd be a White Claw now. I guess we had like Mike's Hard Lemonade would have been an easy drink to swipe back in the day, or Smirnoff Ice.
Smirnoff, yeah.
Yeah. But now it's more of the seltzers, the White Claws and whatnot. But just drinking is down. But it is the bourbon tourism industry is crazy popular. And that's why I know that imagine what the weed and tourism industry could be. I don't know if those people are more of but you can make Kentucky the ultimate vice visiting capital of the world, where it's like you go to bet on horses, you go to gamble on horses, you go to drink your booze, you go to we go better pot than California, I've been told. So
don't forget we're tobacco leaders as well.
Well,
people, North Carolina.
Hey, I will say,
cornbread mafia. I mean, come on.
Yeah, people aren't ripping heaters that much anymore, but after spending some time on Dixie Highway over the weekend, I can confirm the heaters are still being ripped on Dixie Highway. Not a lot of vapes. We're still ripping heaters.
It does feel weird to get dirtier looks with a cigarette in my hand than it does a joint nowadays.
Hey, Nick Roush, why is the NBA draft is tonight? Why is Pat Kelsey not going to be in the green room?
Because he was too nice to Mikel Brown.
Can I play a clip from him real fast?
Just go ahead, play that clip.
All right, this is Pat Kelsey. I guess this is him explaining why he's not going to be in the green room today with Mikel Brown Jr.
Kel has a very, very, very close-knit family, and there's only so many spots and so many seats there. Obviously, Ryan is right there as well. With a chance to be drafted. I'm so proud of both of those guys. What an unbelievable culmination of a lifetime of work for both of those guys to be right there at the precipice of realizing.
Okay, that's enough. That's all. I hadn't heard that all the way through yet.
That was a terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. That was pretty bad. But he's not invited. He's not invited there, right? I mean, obviously something happened with him and Mikel Brown Jr., right?
So there was stuff all year. I mean, because let's be real, Mikel Brown is the best player that's played for Louisville in a very long time, but he is loathed and hated by the fan base because of the way that they handled his injury stuff.
Sure. And yeah, rightfully so.
I wonder if they're because it felt like Pat Kelsey was willing to play ball no matter the circumstance. But I wonder if the backlash that Brown received, if Brown blames some of that for the way that Kelsey treated it. I wonder if that is the case at all. Or if it is just one where Brown is so doesn't care about U of L that he's not even going to throw his coach a bone for giving him a pass to do whatever. Generally speaking, where I fall on this is why I hate basketball culture, because this is a very much a bad.
I knew this was perfect to bring up for Nick Roush.
Yeah,
I knew it.
There are words that I would use to describe these players, but they don't love ball. They just don't, and a lot of them are here just to get by until they can get to the NBA, and then they can play an awful product of basketball. I hate it. I loathe it. I despise it. But the thing that ultimately sealed it, I think there were – so one, I do think he legitimately tweaked his back some. And I think a lot of Louisville fans went with it for a while. Trevor, or just disagree. Pipe up when you're off with me, okay?
So far, you're doing okay.
Yeah, I think initially he tweaked his back and people were okay with it. And then he's working his way to come back. And then it got Jaden Quaintance And some people are like, all right, well, as long as if he can make it back for the tournament, then we're good. When he showed up to the NCAA tournament and went through the shoot around, went through the practice and looked perfectly fine, and then did not play in the game, that is the most disgusting and insulting possible thing you could do. Oh, yeah. I've never felt more in sync with Louisville fans. No, I did not have on my champion gear with my flat bill and my face tattoo and my black and milds and my line beard. I didn't have that on, but I was right there with him like, what kind of clown thinks that you can get away with that? And ultimately, Brown should have thrown Pat Kelsey a bone for falling on the sword for him and letting him quit on his team. Because that's what he did. He quit. And I know that some people might have taken it a little too far and calling out on him. I've just accepted that this is just, it's the Zoomer basketball culture load management generation. So, it doesn't surprise me at all.
You play 20 big games. The load management stuff is ridiculous. How many big games are you playing in college basketball?
And the whole entire purpose of playing college basketball is to play in this one tournament. So, why he would choose to skip it, and if you're going to skip it, don't do the shoot around.
Yeah, why are you there?
That's the part that I don't understand at all. And then for Brown to not throw Pat Kelsey a bone, while Kelsey is going on like Jim Rome and all these shows talking about how great Michael Brown is, it just sucks for the city of Louisville, the state of basketball in Kentucky, because
I hate it for them.
Nick, I'll say this about Pat Kelsey, though, and we talked about this on the Rutherford show today, is that I think because you are right, majority of the fan base is very angry at Brown, and rightfully so. Listen, from my perspective, he could have missed all the time he missed in the regular season and the ACC tournament. He comes back and plays in March, I'm all forgiven.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's all he had to do. It's all we asked. Didn't ask for a lot. The whole season, I'm like, yeah, it's okay. He'll be back in March. That was what stung the most. But with Kelsey, I think he's given the benefit. I don't like a camera on this show because it's too close on me.
We just pulled Trevor up full screen on the KSR YouTube channel.
The other YouTube's far away. It's like, whoa. Do I really look like that? No wonder I don't have the bright lights.
It might be mirrored. The screen might be mirrored. So don't read into it too much, Trevor.
I think Pat Kelsey's given the benefit to be able to still be I love Mike McKell, because that's going to you want that to have the attitude when you go into recruiting any future possible one and done McKell.
No.
And so because the fan base, you don't have to appease the fan base by saying, I'm with you. He can play the good guy to McKell, and the whole fan base knows. We know what's real is real. And unlike, I got to throw this crack in there, unlike Cal Perry, Pat Kelsey doesn't need to be at the draft to stroke his ego.
He should be, though.
Yeah.
He should. This is a recruiting event. We talked about it yesterday. This is a recruiting event for Pat Kelsey. And so for him not being there, I think it also just sends a message that they didn't get along.
Yeah, I think I think it does, at least if those who were still wondering, was his March sit down the McKell Brown camp or Pat Kelsey sitting him? I think it's clear now what side that was on. That was all McKell Brown. Kelsey probably wanted him to play. And I would love to see at the draft if they scan the crowd and Ryan Conwell's bought a ticket to go to the draft because he's not invited. And Pat Kelsey's sitting next to him up in section 306. They're just hanging out, having a beer. And then they go to McKell Brown. He's sitting there with his dad, and his dad's combing his hair, being like, "You're a good boy. You're going to be a lottery pick."
I do miss the days where they would have international guys in the stands, and when they would call their name in the second round, they got to make a 10-minute walk throughout Radio City Hall to get down there.
Oh, now they'll wait till tomorrow for the second round.
The NBA draft, dude, middle finger's up to you. The second round was great when it was in one night and they would cram it in 30 minutes. It was just okay, I'll stay up an extra 30 minutes and see. 2 nights? Nobody cares about your NBA draft.
Who's watching this? Who is actually sitting down and watching the 2.5-hour broadcast of the NBA draft?
IU basketball players, because they're only getting drafted tomorrow, maybe.
See, and I do appreciate that joke, Trevor, but that was when I was growing up. Naturally, I watched more college basketball, and I was locked in the NBA because of video games and stuff, even though I didn't watch a ton. But I liked the NBA draft because you knew where the player could fit into the roster immediately. And you kind of knew all of these guys. And even when it got to the second round, it's I've invested 2.5, 3 hours already. At least this is going to go really fast, and they're going to rip off a bunch of picks. There's going to be a pick every 2 minutes, and I don't know all of them. There's a lot of international guys, but hey, some might have some funny names, and then here's this random guy from Texas Tech getting picked. I used to have. We had an annual tradition, Peak, because there was a Hooters not too far from my house on Dixie Highway.
Right.
That, we rode our bikes to when we were in middle school to watch Tayshaun get drafted. So it was like we were doing some grown-up stuff, right? To go to the Hooters.
Roush was watching the draft at Hooters. Yeah.
Oh, camping out.
Looking at.
Yeah, well, it just totally locked in. But that was like a tradition for us for a while. I mean, we had a lot of fun. We'd always go up to the Hooters, and now I will give it, even towards the end of the Cal years, it just kind of, not for me.
The second round having its own night is like the NFL draft giving the 7th round its own night. It's just completely like it takes away the chance of us being able to look back and make a joke about how he's getting drafted during a Taco Bell commercial.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if that's what just made him mad and he decided to switch because of that, or the NFL, or just to try to milk more money out of ESPN. But the second round of the NBA draft is you can throw your Michael Reds and Gilbert Arenas at me all you want. It's pointless.
Yeah, exactly. See, and that's what they'll do too, Trevor, is they'll lead off with all their success stories.
Yeah, there's like 10 of them.
I would love to know the data of relative second round draft pick success versus first round. Like how many first round picks become NBA All-Stars and what percentage of second round picks become NBA All-Stars?
I'm curious if they start throwing out like Mark Price and Dennis Rodman names who would have been first round picks in today's NBA length of teams. But they were second round back then.
Right. Who do you think is Kentucky's best second round NBA draft pick, Peak? Would it be Jody Meeks?
You mean like how they did at Kentucky or how they did in the NBA?
In the NBA. Most successful second round pick. I think it would be
no, I don't know.
No, because George was out quick. Meeks hung around for a while. Was Keith Bogans a second round draft pick?
Yeah, he was, and he hung around for a little bit too.
Him and Nazi Muhammad, I think, would be.
Yeah.
I thought Nazi was the first round, though. I think he was last pick.
I thought he was too.
Yeah,
really
sure.
Good for old Nazar. Which not enough people talk about how his name is spelled.
Interesting story. I have a Keith Bogans Charlotte Bobcats jersey.
I bet it's a great looking jersey.
I went to a Bobcats game, and that Zack day, Bogans got traded to Houston for Lonnie Baxter. So they had all his jerseys for like $10. So I bought like 10 of them and gave them to friends for like Christmas stuffers that year.
Your memory did serve you well, though, Trevor. Nazar was a first pick 29th overall.
Now, Nick, you know how Trevor is. He knows this. I mean, his memory is incredibly good with stuff like this. It is.
Yeah, he's like an Alzheimer. He's like an Alzheimer patient. He can remember that stuff, but he can't remember what happened yesterday.
Yeah, that's.
It was Tuesday, right? No, today's Tuesday.
There you go. Wisconsin guy Carrico in the Game Day Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. He says Jamal McGlure maybe best second rounder.
First round.
Okay, he also says maybe Cal will sit with Brown for part of it. Calipari will be there. He knows how this stuff works. He'll probably be there with Darius Acuff, right?
Oh yeah. This is right up his alley.
This is what he does.
It was one of those two that I'm not keeping up with John Calipari's whereabouts as much, but it was very funny watching the end of the Knicks comeback and they pan to Sandler and he's just right next to Cal and I'm like, of course Cal made it to the this is the finals game that he
always
went to.
Be selling
right up front. Is he gonna go to Michigan? Can he?
Let's. I don't want him to. Am I one of the rare Kentucky fans that want him to be at Arkansas? He's not going to win a title there. And we get to play him every year. It's fun. And, I know that some people are like, I don't really know if I want to see him come back into Lexington again this year because of how it went.
Oh, no. It's great. I love it.
It's the biggest game. Yeah. How big was that game, Nick? I mean, we did a 5-hour sources say before the game. I got engaged at Rupp Arena before the game. I mean, it was a big day. It was a huge day. There were people who one guy said he drove in from Paducah the day of, just a few hours before tip-off, but still got there early. The whole place was packed well before tip-off. It was the biggest game I think I've ever been in Rupp Arena for. Let's do it. I love it. I don't want him to go to Michigan because I want that game for as long as he's still coaching basketball.
Not to go off topic real quick. I just looked this up. The past first round best Kentucky players. One, Mark Pope is angry he didn't get named.
Oh,
no.
Two, Nick is even madder. Nick Richards didn't get named.
Yeah,
And
I mean, but he wasn't
second
good.
round Nick Richards.
And three, I think this is with an asterisk, but because he was the 8th round pick in the NBA draft because of his signing with the ABA, Dan Issel.
Yeah, that doesn't count. Yeah.
It doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
After that, you look at guys like Bogans. You look at I guess Diallo was a second round pick that played a little bit.
Jody Meeks got a decade in.
Cliff Hagan was a 3rd round. Winston Bennett played in the NBA for a while. Louisville native that played at UK was a 3rd round pick as well. Of course, they don't have 3rd round anymore.
I'm giving Trevor, you did the thing where I completely forgot what I was going to talk about. What were we talking about?
No, here's what. Think about it. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about that. We'll talk a little Kentucky football, and we'll talk about the heat wave that has taken over Europe right now. All those Europeans very happy to be in the U.S. with air conditioning. We'll talk about all that, and we come back on Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio. All right. I assume we're at break. This is the cool part about being on the YouTubes is you get a little you get free parts of the show, Nick.
Oh yeah, they can actually
the
see what we're doing and hear what we're talking about. So I can't say anything inappropriate.
Oh, that's what this segment is for. The between the commercials. We are on an ad break right now on Big X Sports Radio. You can listen to the show Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. on bigxsportsradio.com. If you're in Louisville, 96.1, 1450. So let's see. We'll go to some comments here.
I don't have any on-air producing. I was thinking, do I have anything fun to say? But I really don't have any like inside scoop or anything.
Oh,
what could be a fun nugget to share right now?
We have 74 days until football starts. So we'll talk a little bit of football, but is there anything recruiting-wise? I know there's a 4-star that South Carolina is trying to flip.
Yeah, they're trying to do that, and we've got a couple that we're trying to get committed this week, Sean Fox and Tyler Fryman. When will it happen? I don't know, but I'm hoping it'll happen sometime soon. And here's the other part, too, with Ivy and Lewis and potentially flipping. It could happen, but I will get excited for commitments because, why the hell not? But I will not get devastated by flips or decommitments because they can always flip back. So, I'm putting myself in a position where I can never be let down.
Snap.
Yeah, because, I was talking to somebody yesterday who's in a college football building regularly, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to get, 5 guys are going to leave. That's just kind of, Yeah, they're coming early, and then they're going to flip some. It's just what you deal with. So,
what part of the show I'll be overreacting to some of the intel that we got from Jack on KS Board yesterday, KSR
that's
Plus.
my favorite sort of content is peak overreacting.
Yeah, so of course we're going to do that, and he'll have a source to say on this channel, and maybe even tonight. I don't know. It might be tomorrow. We'll see, and then he'll go into detail about it. But.
Wow. Getting praise from Fox Soccer. Shout out. He was watching the happy hour last week. Where I just get annoyed when everybody is just always talking about their bets.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
we have a betting show, don't we? So we probably
we're getting rid of that because nobody cared.
Oh, okay.
We'll just make it like a segment. Yeah. And I don't know. I just I've gotten to a point too, Peak, where I can even watch horse races and get fired up for them without betting them. And sometimes the best races I don't even bet because Sovereignty is going to be 6-5. Well, how can I make money out of that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Trevor, can you hear us?
I believe 6 and 7 is.
Okay,
he's picking his nose. I can see it.
Yeah, we'll make sure. You never know because I know he's in there talking to an intern. So when we come back from the break, we will talk.
We have interns.
Yeah, I think so. I think they do over there.
Did you ever see them?
Yeah, I saw them once.
Huh.
Holly says, "Hey, Steven and Nick. When we come back from this break, I'll talk with Nick Roush about Kentucky football, little World Cup talk, and then Zack Geoghegan will be joining later. We'll talk a little more NBA draft. He's an NBA. He loves the basketball culture. Nick Roush.
Yeah, he's Zack Geoghegan.
There you go.
Like
Nobody called him ZG. No one's called him ZG. Like that hasn't happened yet. Then we'll have Brandon Ramsey. Those two will actually
ZG would be the first person ever have the nickname ZG.
Yeah, well we had BG last year. Why does BG work but ZG doesn't?
There's never any sort of he could be the first. We need to make that a thing. Gosh, I said
Trevor, are we back on the radio?
Hey, I slop. It just drives me nuts.
Welcome back to Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio.
Call.
Stephen Peak, that's the voice of Nick Roush joining us here for another segment here on a Tuesday afternoon. Trevor Kelsey back at the studio, and Nick Roush, is that right? Do I have it right today? 74 days until the Will Stein era kicks off?
Sure.
All right. 74 days. By the way, we are live on the YouTube channel as well if you want to see Nick Roush's beautiful face as well as whatever I got going on. And
it looks better than it smells. It was a nice morning this morning. Got a little exercise, and boy, do I stink. I'm also wearing a shirt that I got from Keith. Yeah, shout out to Keith. Does Keith still listen? I hope so. Keith, great longtime listener of Kentucky Roll Call. So shout out to Keith.
Get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line. I think we had a question for you. Ask Roush if he's ready to get on the bandwagon and say we're going 9-3 and beating Bama and LSU.
No.
Okay. Well, Nick, come on.
No,
you did say they're going to beat Alabama.
Yeah, but they're not going to go 9.
They're not going to. But that's only like okay. If they go 5-7, but they beat Alabama, that's a great year, right? For year one, that's a great year one. Not a great year 3, maybe even year 2, but that's a great year 1.
I would say no, not great. It'd be good.
Good enough?
Not great. Oh, yeah, good enough. But here's the thing. Sports fans, we are dumb idiots, right? And I say that in the politest ways possible. We fall for anything. So if you beat Bama and then you get all this momentum and this hype built up, but then you kind of end the year with a whimper, like Stoops' I think it was 2015, they had 7 games, and their final 6 games of the season, if they win 1, they go to a bowl game. They lost all 6. Like, you can't do that. And their winnable games are in November. So the way that this works, and it can work, is if you beat the 2 non-cons in Alabama, so they get you to 3, and then you're at November, and Florida's better than you think, so you lose to them, but you beat Louisville and you win your other non-con. That's how it's like, all right, we feel okay about it. A lot of this is going to come down to the fake juice that Kentucky builds in November. And because let's be real, like late season momentum is such a farce, but it matters. How you end matters. Right before the transfer portal, you say, oh, we're getting Minchie back. We got all these guys back. Look what we can build. We finally figured it out. We got the proof of concept. Like that fake juice is going to feel like real juice this November. So a lot of it's going to be how does Kentucky end the season when that's where it looks like you have your most winnable games.
I agree with that. It's like those early years of Mark Stoops when he started out 5-1, he'd be 1 game away from going to a bowl game and then lost every single one. So it's kind of like if you crash early in the race, you got a chance to make up for it, but if you crash late in the race, you don't. So
I mean, think about how dumb last year was, where Mark Stoops almost saved his job. All he had to do was beat Vandy or Louisville because he won some late games against Auburn and Florida.
What did we lose, right? By 80 points combined or something like that?
So very close to that. 86.
We're this close. This close to still having Mark Stoops.
Right. Like, and even though there was they were recruiting JUCO guys. That's how bad it was. Nobody recruits JUCO guys anymore.
This is like the end of the Tubby Smith era.
Yeah. So like it was very clear that they needed to move on, but we were willing to fall for the fake juice once again. We almost did if they would have beat Vanderbilt or Wolf.
But let's just, for the fun of it, let's just hypothetically say Kentucky starts their season 2-0. And, of course, that second win would be Alabama at home.
Yeah.
How much juice is in the program then? I mean, what does that do for getting the attention of some big-time recruits as far as selling what Will Stein's able to do? And yeah, even if you lose some games, I still think Kentucky football is going to be in the same situation for the next several years that we've seen. They may pull off a win or two that we didn't expect, but they're probably also going to lose one that we didn't expect.
That's the part where you and I may differ.
Okay, like, go. Why is that?
Because people are getting inflated short-term hype when they should have inflated long-term hype. Like,
okay,
nobody wants to say that I believe Kentucky's going to be at its best 3 years from now. But as much as the portal can, put some stickum on everything and you can flip things quickly, what happens when Will Stein can spend his money on a receiver instead of an offensive tackle? Because, well, let's face it, his best teams at Oregon, he had a first-round draft pick at tight end this year. He had a first-round draft pick at quarterback, right? Dante Moore is going to end up becoming a first-round draft pick, okay? They don't have the skill talent that is in that right now. Now, maybe C.J. Baxter lives up to the guy we thought he could be in high school. And maybe DJ Miller looks like a future star at wide receiver, but he's still a year or two away. That's my sort of point, is that, like, you're getting the hardest schedule right away. You're getting the first-time head coach. Like, there's going to be some times where as exciting and as good and as innovative as a play caller as Will Stein is, he's going to do some dumb stuff, right? It's like when you got the controller with Madden and it's your first time playing the college football game and you hit the wrong button and you're like, oh, God, I'm an idiot. Like, Mark Stoops had more than he should have early on as a first-time head coach. That's just part of this. Yes. So, like, he's probably – like, Will Stein will win them a game because of his style of play this year, but he's probably going to lose them one too. So, my point
will he know when to take a timeout?
Yeah, but he also might be, like, in some instances, be too confident in his players that don't have enough talent to do it. Right? Like,
because he's used to coaching the guys at Oregon? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, there's going to be a time when he gets aggressive in the 2-minute, and it's going to cost him points. Like, it's going to be – we're going to be so glad that we finally got an aggressive coach, but it's actually going to hurt Kentucky this year. Right? Like, that's I think what I'm trying to say is that there is going to be a lot of friction with this change that right now we just don't have because there's nothing really pushing back. Once the games start, there's going to hit some speed bumps. And you know what? It doesn't mean that they still can't have a good year. But I do think that Will Stein is competent enough and confident enough to where 2-3 years from now, like, they're going to be a playoff team. Like, they just are. I don't know if it's Jake Narrott who's going to be the quarterback or if it's some other guy out there. But, like, the reason why, Pete, to get back to your original point, why it's going to be some of the same Kentucky football, they're actually going to have quarterbacks who can break that glass ceiling. And Mark Stoops could never get the quarterback and the offense to make it happen. Will Stein is going to get the quarterback and the offense that can break through that glass ceiling and get Kentucky to the college football playoff.
Yeah, I guess I just see it as I need to see it before I can ever believe that it can be possible. Even the best years of my life, Kentucky still lost games that you're just like, man, how did we lose that one? We were better, especially when they play Tennessee every year. Like, there have been several years where Kentucky was the better team, but just couldn't pull that game out. So that's one right there. Another one on the schedule that if you go into Knoxville and take down Tennessee,
it'd be awesome.
I mean, when's the last time they beat Tennessee at Knoxville where they were able to have a full crowd?
86 or 84, one of those.
Yeah, so I've never seen it.
40+ years.
That would be awesome. And I know that for me, like, my entire life, well, I come at it at two different ways. One, I went to football games as a kid. I did not go to basketball games. So part of me is like the bigger fan of football because I get nostalgic, even riding with you guys down 64 on game day, listening to games on the radio as we are driving in to do some tailgate shoots and go to games. It's just, I'm maybe slightly a bigger Kentucky basketball fan, but football has a special place in my heart as well. But the other part of me is like football has kind of been the holdover to basketball. Just get me some big moments. Give me a couple. Just like nothing feels better than winning an SEC football game. Like especially on the road. On the road, yeah. You always say that. There's no drug better than that. Yeah. Give me a couple of those moments a year. Give the fans a couple of those moments a year. Finish with a respectable record, and everybody's going to be fine. And Will Stein can coach here his entire life. I've said once every 5 years, get in position where you're playing a meaningful November game where the playoffs are on the line. That should be a reasonable expectation.
And I think they could play in meaningful November games this year. It might not be for their own playoff berth, but just
not just the role of spoiler. Like
no,
it means
spoiler, but also you could go to a bowl game. Yeah, because like
I want ESPN, I want Fox, I want when they do the pregame coverage, when they do game day, they have to talk about Kentucky. They have to.
So the question, and UK Rob brings this up in the chat, and I don't have a great answer for it. I kind of did this the other night. I was running on fumes blogging on Sunday, where it's like I kind of just want to ask a question and see if people have the answer to it because I don't know. And Rob says that he put a lot of money that we'll be in every game that we lose. Even if we lose, it'll be close. So I guess my question is, Peak, can that be the case? Because
no, because they're going to play more aggressive, right? So Mark Stoops played in a lot of close games. But if you got down by 13 points, I mean, it was kind of over. I think don't you think because Will Stein will take more risks that there is the possibility that they get blown out more than Mark Stoops did?
Yeah. And that is I remember this conversation very vividly. I don't know, 2019, and that, like right when Stoops had got to that height, there was at least a thought and a sentiment around the fan base that like, well, we're at least beyond getting blown out. And then there would still be one game a year where they would kind of get their teeth knocked in. But I think that sentiment was generally true, that they got closer, like that like the blowouts were, instead of 3 a year that you could almost bookmark, it would be kind of a random one-off. I think now, so it's more of a, like, to your point, you can be getting blown out but still have belief that they can come out. That's what I think is the biggest difference. Instead of going into the game being like, well, at least I know we're good enough to not get blown out, or we'll play Georgia close enough because we got the style of play to do it. Now it's the third quarter and they just took a 17-point lead. But you know what? There's enough time. We can make a couple big plays. We can still do this. And that, I'm looking forward to when that becomes a reality for the first time and you aren't just the crazy guy in the stand saying it to all the people you're sitting next to. You know, like that guy.
If they get a couple interceptions, we'll be right back in this thing.
When that happens for that guy, I don't know who you are out there. If you're UK Rob or if you're Ninja Dean or if you're Horsley in the chat, whoever you may be. But there is always one of those guys that's overly optimistic. And there's usually one who's overly pessimistic in your group. And when that overly optimistic guy is finally proven right, that is going to be such a great time in the parking lot afterwards where they're drinking beer and they're talking about, can you remember that one play? And they're just going to be dunking on the one loser who said the whole time that they were going to lose. That's coming. I don't know when, I don't know where, but that's coming down the pike, and it's going to be a wonderful time.
We got some messages in the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. This one is a long one. I do want to get to all of it, but I might not right now. Okay. We talked yesterday, Nick, about Hell's Itch. I brought it up to you before, I think, when you were hosting the show.
We did weird pique my interest with
it. We did. We talked about it in depth yesterday, told a fun story about it. Somebody said, Peak, I'm a long-time Devil's Itch survivor. I'm 32 now and actually had the Devil's Itch episode last month. But he's a veteran. He knows exactly what to do. So he listed what you should do. And I'll make sure that we talk about that. If you're suffering from it right now, reach out to – well, I'll just wait till the rest of the show. I'm sorry. I would hope no one is because it's terrible. But, Nick, this is the summer solstice was Sunday. I deemed yesterday Hell's Itch Awareness Day. We can still talk about that as we talk about what's going on in Europe right now. There are 40 people drowned in France as the temperatures reached unprecedented levels. You following that?
So they drowned?
People are they're just trying to cool off because they didn't need AC for most of the, they don't, it doesn't get that hot there. It's not supposed to get that hot. So They don't have AC. They don't have the infrastructure for it. And so people are trying to find ways to cool off. They're just jumping into any body of water. And 40 people in France have drowned since the heat wave started last week.
Okay. So first and foremost, you want to live without air conditioning? Dude, rip it. Totally get it. I try to abide by that lifestyle as much as possible, but obviously we can't always do that in the Ohio Valley. But like, really,
it's the best invention. It's up there. It's like top 3 inventions of all time.
But my other part, though, if you're so like, there are ways to cool down besides drowning yourself. Secondly, this gets to another. It's not as prescient as a take as my bullying works one, but I don't understand people who can't swim. It's this. It's this.
Well, you don't know. They could be getting to be currents. They could be getting in rivers. I don't know. Or they're passing out from heat exhaustion and they're in the water.
Yeah, I still just incomprehensible to me.
My wife can't swim. Isn't that interesting?
You kick, you float. Like
I've said I'm just going to throw you in some water and see what happens.
Fight or flight.
You'll figure it out.
I'm going to splash around until I stay up. Like, it's physics, it's matter. And I know some of this is some people just have a fear of water because they weren't around it. That's another thing I can't. How does one parent a child without throwing them in a pool all summer to wear them out? My kids, they drive me insane. If I can't throw them in a body of water, then there's no way that we could survive the summer. So just throw them in the water. Figure it out. Here's another one though, Peak, that it's another take that I've been baking up. This is more incomprehensible than the I can't swim. If somebody tells you I can't cook, they are a liar. Every person in the world can cook. It is like you read directions. You do what they say. If you say I can't cook, you are saying out loud, I can't follow directions. Now, I do think there's a difference in I can't cook versus I'm not as good as my husband, or like he's better, he likes it.
Yeah, so you just don't eat unless you get, you just never figure out how to eat.
Well, because like I get it. There might be some people in their house, like they grew up in a house where their dad was a chef or something, so they're just better and they know how to do they're quicker around a knife, whatever. It's similar to me and my wife, where I am not handy, so she will do most of the handiwork. But if I need to figure something out, I can look at the directions. It might take me a little longer to change the car battery and get out my socket wrenches, but damn it, I'm a man. I got to figure this out. With cooking, it's like boil water, and I can't. My brain. You ever done one of those boxes where they send you the food kits?
Yes, I love those. I mean, I don't do them now, but I used to. Yeah.
Yeah. We dabbled with them some. I get sent a bunch of stuff, and it's telling me to do stuff I've never done before, but I have directions. I just figure it out.
There's also videos. YouTube will walk you through it.
I cannot. If you don't want to cook, fine. But you know what? It costs twice as much to not cook. So, like, just figure it out. I don't like it is. You stir the pot, you pour it in, you stick it in the oven, you set a timer, and when it goes off, you put on your oven mitts and you take it out. I cannot understand the people who say, I can't cook. No, you just don't want to. Just say that. Don't say I can't.
I don't want to, and I'm not going to.
Do not. There is no try, Trevor.
You cook your food.
Trevor tries.
I'll go to White Castle and get a 10 sack for $9, and that's a lot cheaper than anything I'm buying at Kroger. And I'm halfway done eating while you're still boiling your water.
Trevor never caught a fish, Nick. So should we do a Trevor tries catching a fish?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, you just throw it out there and you sit there, and when it's time, you reel it in.
I think he can do it.
Sounds like when children, I go to the bar.
My 3-year-old, if my 3-year-old could catch a fish on his own, Trevor, you can catch a fish too.
Well, wait to set the bar, by the way, for me. I mean,
exactly. No pressure.
Was that Duke or Frank?
It was Frank. Duke does it regularly. Duke's one of those, though, if he catches a fish, he's done for the day. He's hit his quota. He's like, oh, I got one. I'm good.
Great. Nick's 3-year-old has already surpassed me in accomplishments in life.
The funniest
that's
part
good to know.
It's like, normally kids, they're a little freaked out taking a fish off the hook. After Papaw took it off, he's like, well, do you want to touch it? And he said he wanted to hold it. He's just grabbing this thing, just like,
love it.
It's braver than me too.
I got one question for you before we let you go. I think you'll have some takes on this. Do you believe the report that Dusty May is leaving college basketball because of what it has turned into?
I think the Matt Norlander story that he shared, where people, it was like this kid committed, but he dealt with his agent, and the kid ended up not going there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was funny, the reaction to it when people were like, "Can you believe this is what happens now?" Yeah, no bleep. Like, this is duh. The part that I'm not surprised by it, because when he said, like, he made it explicit many times that he wasn't taking another college job. Like, that was how the reporting was with the North Carolina gig. So yes, Peak, I believe some of it, but I don't understand why. Like, why were you so eager to get out because of the way the sport is, when you seemingly are the master of it, when you're very good at it, and it's what won you the title?
Going to be really good again. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other part of it, I think I know the answer to this question. Why do these guys want to coach these bleep holes in the NBA? Like, you are
they're being the same in college? Is that possible?
But you're the most disposable person in an NBA organization.
That's true. You're a superstar in college.
Yeah, the last Michigan coach that went to the NBA got fired after 54 games. Okay,
good.
Name. Yeah, so like John Calipari, king of Kentucky, king of Arkansas with the Chicken King, fired after a year and a half at the Nets, if that. Rick Pitino, like,
kind of ran off with Bianchi, but yes.
The NBA success stories from college to NBA, they so far are outweighed by the failures.
Mm-hmm.
So, particularly when there are only two NBA coaches that were still coaches before the bubble. Spoelstra and Steve Kerr. Multi-time NBA champions with Hall of Famers. The rest are all new guys. So, like, I don't know why you would want to do that, except for one reason. They're all egomaniacs.
That's it.
It doesn't matter that Dusty May started as a manager for Bobby Knight, took plucky FAU to the Final Four before winning a championship in his home state. No, he's still an egomaniac.
The bucking underdog, Nick Roush.
Yeah. And
Nick, can you tell me the only coach to win a college and NBA championship?
Larry Brown?
That would be correct. Good job.
Yeah, there you go. One more NFL success stories, too, because it's football. It's a different sport. Like Pete Carroll went back and forth and did fine. Bill O'Brien, similarly.
Nick Saban would have gotten the Dolphins turned around. I'm convinced.
Yeah. Right, which I think is fair. But Jim Harbaugh, another one, too. Can't leave him out.
Chip Kelly with the Eagles. Oh, never mind.
I mean, like, he went to the playoffs, so with the Eagles, right?
He did.
Yeah, well, they were pretty good for a year. He burned too hot too fast. But I can understand why the lack of structure in college, especially college basketball, because it's one thing if you missing a guy because of agent funny business in football. You know, you're getting 15 guys in a portal class. Like, you can find another one for the most part. Kentucky missed on a couple offensive tackles before they got Lance Hurd, and he's better than all the guys they missed on. So, like, and in basketball, you miss on one guy, and it could be huge. We
could have a completely different team right now with the 6 guys that were supposed to go to Kentucky that ended up not going to Kentucky.
Exactly. So, like, I understand that to a degree, but ultimately, I think Dusty May is going to be the Indiana head coach in like 2 years because it's not going to work in the NBA. Right?
I don't want
He's
that to happen. He might actually turn him around. Is it possible?
Brad Stevens is like one of the few, and we're still trying to call him every offseason to see if he wants to come back to college, and it's just not going to work.
All right, Nick Roush, everybody, at Roush KSR. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Second hour of Kentucky Roll Call. Zack Geoghegan will join us. We'll talk a little NBA draft and some World Cup stuff. When we come back,
World Cup stuff.
Yeah. Did a little World Cup, Nick Roush. When we come back here on Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Nick Roush.
Happy to help.
Any scoop you want to drop here in the commercial break?
No, I do have some parting thoughts, though.
Yeah, love it.
Just a question. So, like, should we not care about the World Cup game Thursday? How do we handle that?
It is so funny to me that my group of friends that joke on me about following soccer are messaging me saying, we got to rest Pulisic and all the guys who have yellow cards because we can't risk losing these guys for the games that matter.
I get the yellow card guys.
Yeah, rest Christian Pulisic also. It doesn't. No, the game doesn't matter. The way they did the World Cup this year, you are playing.
You don't even do goal for differential. Yeah,
right, head to head. So you're playing for pride. You're playing for the people who still spent $1,000 a ticket to come see you play.
And you don't want to lose like a bunch of momentum.
We've never gone undefeated. We've never gotten all 9 points from the group before. And yes, it's a watered down version of the group this year, but it would be nice, the golden generation, to go undefeated in their group and to take that momentum into, or is it like the SEC tournament, Nick? Do you want to lose a game?
Yeah, no, just keep winning.
Okay.
So I'm going to be locked in. I'm going to drink some beers.
This was supposed to be the toughest game. Turkey. And that is that'll be the late game, 10 o'clock on Thursday.
Definitely going to be hammered and loopy for that one. Because why not?
Be fun.
You know?
All right,
brother.
Thank you, Nick.
Zack,
appreciate you.
Hey, it's Geoghegan.
Geoghegan.
There we go.
I like that. Brother. I like that better than ZG, honestly.
ZG for 3. Whatever. All right, I'm out. Yeah.
All right. So Zack Geoghegan will join us here when we come back from break. Trevor Kelsey is going to let us know when we're back. He's going to give me a little thumbs up on the screen. And let's see. We can go to Zack. I don't know if you know it or not, but your mic is muted. Or it's not. Your mic is not connected. It says. Well, there you go. Let's try it out. Is it working?
Test.
There we go. That is Zack, the voice of Zack Geoghegan, everybody. When we come back from the break, we'll talk a little bit about the NBA draft, of course. If Kentucky can maintain its lead over Duke for most first-round draft picks in NBA history. And what else was going on with some of the trades. And then we'll talk a little bit about Kentucky's pursuit of Nikola. You know, Zack, I think of The Office whenever I do that.
Why is that?
Because Michael Scott does that. He does the Pamela, like he does that. He does the Ricola ad. Yeah. Zack Geoghegan and I we need to do some Office trivia, Zack.
Absolutely, I'll be down.
Get in the chat. If you guys have a question that you think you can stump us with on The Office, I would like to know. Because I don't know. Zack, I'm pretty sure you and I could clean up some Office trivia.
I've done it before. I've done multiple. There used to be a bar in Lexington called Soundbar. It's gone now. But they would do like TV-themed trivia shows, and they did The Office a couple times, and I went twice. And the only reason I didn't win was because they didn't have like the superfan episodes weren't like widely available yet. So they like asked questions from the super
fans.
Yeah, like that weren't even out yet. So like you had to watch all these extended scenes. Like so you had to have the DVDs and everything. So I guess I wasn't. I mean, maybe that's my fault. Maybe I'm not as big of an Office fan as I thought because those kind of annoyed me. But I'm good now. I can get those now.
That's actually wild to me that they were using the superfan episodes to.
They did it for a couple
for trivia.
Bonus questions.
That's crazy.
That's how you would lose. Yeah.
We're just waiting on the cue from Trevor.
We also did. This is a long time ago, like pre-COVID when we were in college and everything. We like a lot of my friends are Office fans too, so we made our own Office trivia night at my house.
Oh, I love that.
Old roommate Cody. We like created our own. Oh, and yes, my old roommate was Cody, so we had like the Zack and Cody. This we have the Zack and Cody situation.
Nice.
So that was a good bit.
Was that a Wi-Fi password?
It was the Wi-Fi name, my guy. But we made our own, and like the questions were just absolutely ridiculous. Impossible to know.
All right, let's. Welcome back to the second hour of Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio. I'm Stephen Peak. Trevor Kelsey back at the station doing the producing for us. And our next guest, Zack Geoghegan. You can also check us out on the KSR YouTube channel as well if you want to see Zack Geoghegan's face. It's always best part of my day, Zach.
Right,
we're doing some, we're going to keep the office bit going. If you guys have a question, a trivia question from the office that you think can stump Zack Geoghegan and I, get it into the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. Game Day Men's Health, they are redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com, defining a new era in men's health. We're going to see how many office references we can get in this short hour, I guess. Because, Zach, you're going to stay on with us, right? Brandon and I?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Hell yeah, let's do it. So we'll see how many. I think we can get 20 references in.
Well, you always left me smiling and satisfied. So
are you sure you can go that long?
I think we can do more than that.
Yeah, we could definitely get 20. Okay. Let's see. So, Zach, when it comes to the NBA draft today, I know you're the NBA guy. They call you Zack Geoghegan. Is that right? NBA-gan? That's it.
That's a Nick Roush.
I like it though.
Idea.
We're gonna go with it.
I'll take it.
I think the biggest news from a Kentucky fan's point of view would be: are they going to get a first-round draft pick this year? Are they going to have one? I should say.
I don't know.
No.
Up until like yesterday, I probably would have said yes, but it just continues to. I still ultimately think yes. It just would be kind of crazy to me because as deep and talented as his draft is, like, unless that you have like just firm confirmation that Jaden Acquaintance's knees are just like made of paper and glass, I would take him in a late 20s. Like, my Cavs have the 29th pick. If he's available there, take him. And just kind of hope that you can kind of medical, you can heal him back to at least what
you think he's going to be good. He's going to be good, right?
If he's healthy, yes, he will be good. But that is literally the tens of $20s of $1 million question. So, I do think that he probably sneaks in towards the end of that first round. I think the Mavericks have 30th. Like, I'm actually looking here. Like, all the mock drafts right now have Celtics at 27, Nets 28. You got the Cavs at 29, Mavericks at 30. I see the ESPN's big board has him as the 22nd best available guy. A couple outlets have him going 23 of the Hawks. So, what number is typed into the calculator during the opening sequence?
We got a question from the office. It's what number is typed into the calculator during the opening sequence? Zach, do you know that one?
Like the opening sequence of the
dun 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 dun. Yeah, that part. That's a really tough question.
I've literally seen that 1,000 times.
I know. I skip it. I think it's the worst intro in all of TV.
No.
For one of the best shows, I don't like the intro.
I love it. I listen to it every single time. But you know what? I couldn't tell you what that number is. Like,
the only time I know they used a calculator, they did 80085.
Yes, I knew that was, and that's what I was going to say.
But that's not the opening sequence.
That's not the opening sequence. So I'm not. I know it's Kevin who's just punching it in there on the little calculator at his desk.
That is tough. J.R. Horsley 5467 on the YouTube chat is who had that question.
J.R. Horsley knows that one.
If you know it, let us know. You stumped us already. That is tough. Right out of the gate, they gave us a tough question.
But see, these are the questions that, like, when I was saying we built our own office trivia. Like, these were the questions that we were asking each other. Like, I would go through the episodes and I'd be like, I would find the most obscure. I'll see. Horsley's got it. 9653 is the number, is what he says. So, and yeah, it's Kevin. I did know that part at least. I've seen it enough times, but yeah, I didn't. That's a great question. I'll have to add that to my bag. I had like a whole note tab full of these things, but the questions were like that. Like, what color was Michael's tie when he was doing this? Like, it was stuff like that. So, but that's a good one. J.R. Horsley coming out guns a-blazing on that one.
Sure was. All right, so you think JQ maybe doesn't fall on does not hear his name called tonight?
I think there's like a 5% chance he slips to the second round.
Okay, so for the most part, you actually are confident.
I still think he gets that first. Yeah, I think he'll sneak in there. Because like I said, the talent, like, he is if we're just going pure talent, he's perfectly injured or he's perfectly healthy the whole time. I'd say that's a top 15, top 10 guy. I mean, after the St. John's game, we were anointing him, a top 5 guy. At the time, it felt like he was. Like, it didn't. I mean, it was a little bit was like, of recency bias, but like he was already kind of trending as a top 10 pick. And then once he came back and he looked like that against St. John's, like, holy moly, this guy can really be. So, I mean, the offense is obviously a major work in progress, but athleticism, and that's the main thing, is a lot of his defensive skills, like his defensive abilities, are based on the fact that he can just spring off those knees. And like his second jump getting rebounds and blocks was like really impressive. So if he loses that explosion there, that could be tough. But if you can say that you can get 90% of that same athlete coming back, and then you can maybe try and fine tune his offensive game a little bit, because like he was a passing guy, like he could pass, he just couldn't really shoot the ball. Like you can teach a big man how to shoot in the NBA. We've seen it happen time and time again. Normally with guys that end up being like all-stars and are really good and are just like kind of have their heads screwed on tight in the first place. So we'll see if that's kind of ends up being the case with JQ. But yeah, there's too much talent there, and like I said, unless the medicals come back and says this guy's knees are like just chopped in half, he's not gonna be able to walk up and down the floor. Like even if you have to set him, rest him for another year, like I think that would be fun, taking a flyer on him at that point. Because I mean, the Thunder took a kid, Nikola Topic, who still hasn't played, and he was like their 15th pick in a last draft or 2 drafts ago, something like that. And he's been injured and stuff like that. So like that happens all the time. But we'll see. I think he sneaks into the first round. I do. I would love to see him in Cleveland. I would.
I'm still thinking like I would be shocked if Jaden Quantins is not picked in the first round. I mean, he's got all of the tangibles to be an all-star and worth, like you said, tens of millions of dollars. Will there be any surprises tonight? What's a surprise I should look out for?
Ooh, surprises.
This is just putting you on the spot too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the top 3, I do think there could be, like, anything can happen. Like, I would not be shocked if Cameron Boozer sneaks up to number 1. Well, I guess I would be a little shocked, but it would make sense to me if Cameron Boozer slid up all the way up there. I really like Caleb Wilson at number 4 there. I think then after that, you've got all these, like, you got a gluttony at guards. Mikal Brown, Darius Acuff, Keaton Wagler, Kingston Flemings, who else? The Braden Burries guy is more of like a wing type guy, but after that, there's a lot of like really good players that kind of fit in there. Then you got the whole Michigan guys.
A lot of them. Yeah.
It is going to be interesting to see how it goes with those Michigan guys now, because I think the Mavericks have the number 8 pick. I think it's 8 or 9, something like that. And now their new head coach.
9 on ESPN.
9 on, okay, so they have the 9th pick, and their head coach is Michigan's
Dusty May.
He's Dusty May. So
is he going to pull the Rick Pitino and just pull guys from the college he was just coaching at?
I mean, you have to think that was. I guarantee that was part of the conversations when they were bringing him on. It's like, look, we had the number 1 pick. Take your pick of whichever guy you want, whether it's Yaxel or Mara. Probably not going to be Morez Johnson. He'll probably be later on. But I mean, I could see him taking one of those guys and pairing him next to Cooper Flagg. So that'd be fun for him. I don't know if I have any like major surprises though. I would really love to see Otega Oweh get picked. That's like kind of my main thing is, I mean, obviously that wouldn't be, I don't think he's a first round guy. So that would be tomorrow that right. would happen. But
do you think he gets picked? Will he hear his name called tomorrow?
I do. But with those second round guys, you never know. You just don't. Like, I think the reason I have confidence is just because of how many other guys have just pulled out of the draft. Like, just there's not going to be too many options in like the late 40s, early 50s up to the 60 there of guys that are just like had better production in college than Otega Oweh. So you can kind of like lean on the fact that you kind of already have a track record with him, as opposed to like maybe taking a flyer on some guy who's maybe more of a project piece. Like if you're picking in the late second round and you want a guy that you think can just come in and, maybe soak up some spot minutes or something like that, be a guy that can slash, play some good defense. That's going to be like, and a lot of Otega's NBA ceiling is just going to be how much can he change his game? How much is he willing to go from being a guy who puts up 20 points a game to a guy that has to play defense a lot? That's kind of his calling card, is slash to the bucket.
I just don't see how like he couldn't help an NBA team. Coming off the bench, providing
changing his role, I think would help. Like if you're not having to score 22 points a game, if you're not having to be the offensive engine, you're going to have a little bit extra energy left over. So just take that energy and put it all into defense. Like you're never, so you get like the Lou Dort comps with him and things like that. Case and Wallace, like those guys are like top 1 percentile, 99 percentile defenders in the world. So like it'd take a lot for him to get there. And Casey Wallace was already like Casey Wallace at Kentucky might have been the best defensive guard I think I've seen like since covering the team. Like I didn't get to see Tyler Ulis when I was covering the team. But Casey Wallace, for my money, was the best defensive guard, unless I'm just magically like thinking or like forgetting somebody. But he was already kind of at that level. So I think if Ortega can switch his game around, he'll have a lot of fun in the NBA. But that's kind of what it's going to come down to him, I think.
It looks like ESPN does not have him. They do not have him in their mock draft right now.
But then like Yahoo, The Athletic, Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report, they all have him in like the 40s and 50s. So kind of in that mid to late second round. But yeah, ESPN does not. So we'll see how that goes. I want to look at the mock draft.
There is Ugana Onyenso is projected to go to the Orlando Magic according to ESPN, and
he's
then
like an early second, late first.
Bryce
round
Hopkins guy as well. Do we claim those guys? Are those former Kentucky players playing in the NBA?
Whenever I'm writing my BBNBA recaps, I include those guys.
Who are the ones right now? Like who are the ones that are in there right now that?
I think the only one that's actually playing in the NBA. Because like you got like Keon Brooks, who's like in the G League. You got a couple of guys like that, but Adu Thiero, I think, is the only guy that's actually playing on an NBA team.
Okay,
because he was like playing.
He played more years at Kentucky than he did Arkansas, so yeah, he's more of a Kentucky.
We couldn't even pronounce his last name right here. Apparently, they finally figured out how to pronounce his last name once he went to Arkansas. So maybe that's why we get a little bit less of the benefit of the doubt.
They know that the play like how is don't they write these names out phonetically for the announcers and for the PA announcers?
Tell the player like, "Hey, this is your name," and they're like, "Yeah." They don't feel because I think Kaysen Wallace, his first name is not Kaysen.
Wait, what? What's his name? Kassan?
Kassan is what his actual name is.
Well, that's insane because Jack Pilgrim would talk with his dad and say, "Yeah," and for Kaysen, and not one time because I used to listen to their conversations. Jack would put those on speaker. I don't know. He doesn't do that as much anymore. Did I do something? Did I say something out loud that I wasn't supposed to say that Jack hasn't talked to me about? Yeah, probably. But speaking of Jack Pilgrim, as Zach and I like to do when he's not around. No, it's Jack put out another intel piece on KSR Plus and KS Board. Highly recommend you go check that out. Let's overreact, Zachary. As you know, that's what I like to do with Kentucky basketball news, especially in the summer. I like to find a reason to do. I got to convince myself that they're going to win a title. So, what was it? We're not going to go through everything Jack put out. Otherwise, what's the point of doing putting it behind a paywall, right? So, but we will go through some of it. The thing that stood out to me the most, and then I want to know what stood out to you the most. For me, it was, the stuff, of course, about Wilkins and Diallo, I'm not shocked by that. It was Malachi Marino stepping into a more Amari Williams-like role and getting into some of the passing, running the offense at the top of the key. That was something that Malachi, there was a difference last year at the 5 compared to the 2023-24 season, or 2024-25 season, I should say, with Amari Williams playing that position. And so there was a part of me, Zach, I know you were a big Amari Williams fan, and there was a part of me that's like, is he just somebody that you're not going to get again? Was he that good at running this offense? And I didn't really believe that, but there's reasons to think that maybe Malachi won't ever be what Amari was. Malachi might have a much longer basketball career. He'll be a first-round draft pick. But that the offense, the style that we want to run, maybe Malachi doesn't fit into there. So he does, just not as well as Amari. It maybe this could give fans a little bit more, could raise that ceiling for Malachi a little bit in running the zoom action stuff, hitting those backdoor cuts, and becoming a better passer, as well as maybe even developing a shot as well.
Yeah, I loved Amari. Like, you're just not going to find many Amari Williams.
That's what I'm worried about
in basketball in general, and not because of like the passing. Like, I do think Malachi can be as good of a passer, if not a better passer, than Amari, because I think they're both they're on that same level of IQ. And I think the reason that, with Malachi, when Amari came here, he was in year 5. He was 23 years old. He'd already played a bunch of basketball. He already knew what he was doing. He was already a good passer at the time, just didn't really get to show it off. Malachi came to UK expecting to be the third string center. there's kind of an asterisk with that because Jaden Quain's we kind of knew wasn't going to play, and then obviously going to play the 4 games. But quickly, so he spent all summer long kind of imagining himself being this secondary guy, and then by the time 5 games into the season, he's a starter. And then you kind of had to the injuries, they kind of reworked the offense on the fly. I think with a full summer of Malachi being, and Pope was very adamant at the end, near the end of the season, and when the season ended, he said, "I want Malachi to have the ball in his hands more." He said that out loud publicly. He's like, next season, I want Malachi to have the ball in his hands more. And I guess we're seeing that already happening with Jack's intel. But yeah, he's going to have the ball in his hands more. I think having a whole summer under his belt to do that stuff will be great. I think the biggest difference between Malachi and Amari is just Amari just did not move like he was 7 feet tall. He was very for a guy his size, he moved really, really well. He was able to get around guys, just sneak in passes, back doors, really quick with his hands. Everything he did was just fast for a guy who was 7 foot, 260 pounds, whatever it was. Whereas Malachi has really good feet and everything. And I think he's got some similar passing chops. I just don't think he's nearly as fast as Amari Williams. And that's no shot at Malachi because, Amari Williams, like I said, was kind of he's a bit of a unicorn in a weird sense because he was a stretch 5 who couldn't shoot the ball, but he was still a stretch 5. So I think Malachi is going to be similar to that. The potential, the ceiling obviously for Malachi is much higher than Amari's. So you can kind of see where he can fit into that role. And I think that's kind of where they're going to try and let him play a little bit more, is do more, just have the ball in your hands more. Like Malachi has said, he wants to play 30 minutes a game next season. That's the goal. So he'll have the ball in his hands a little bit more just naturally off that. I think he'll work well with Zoom. They've already talked about how they've got some chemistry together just from their high school days. And, you got all summer to kind of develop that as well. And hell, I want to see, let's let a couple fly, Malachi. Fire off one or two a game, if you can hit 1-3 every 3 games, every 2 games, every 3 games, you're going to be respected. Guys are going to have to guard you a little bit, and that's just going to open things up just a little bit more for yourself and everybody around you in terms of the passing lanes and everything. So,
if he can develop a jump shot, which if he's working with his brother, he's going to. And I agree with you. I would not mind if they're going to shoot 33s a game or more. There's no reason that Malachi could not shoot 2 to 3 a game. And even if he's only hitting 1 of every 4, isn't that good enough to have people come out and guard him?
Maybe 1 every 3.
That's 33%. I would absolutely take that.
Perfect. That's what you want.
I think when we talked with Reese Potter, we asked him, and that's a guy too that I want. Do you think Reese Potter gets some important minutes this year? Not a lot of them, but he's in for 8 to 10 minutes a spell with. I don't know.
Depends on Big Frank's knees. To me, I think Big Frank is your backup center. He's going to play the majority of the minutes. Maybe you get some spot minutes for Reese here and there. But if Frank is healthy and can play the 10 to 12 minutes per game off the bench that Pope, I'm sure, wants him to do, whenever Malachi needs to break, I think that's what they want to do. But if you can bring in Reese, he has a track record of
he shoots. He said it. We talked to him last week that he said if I only shot 33%, I would be really disappointed in that he wants to be up above 40%. If you got a guy who's 7 foot that can make 40% of his threes, well, he's got to. That seems like a useful tool to have. I don't know how good he'll be at getting rebounds and playing defense and all that other stuff that may matter more for that position.
It's the athletic attribute, the physical attributes, is he fast enough? Is he quick enough? Is he strong enough? Those are the things that might kind of hold him back. But hey, he's got a whole offseason, so we'll see.
But, if we're talking 5 minutes a game, maybe they'll be okay. So
5 minutes a game and hits a 3. That's all you want. That's all you could ask for. Go out there and hit a 3, grab a couple rebounds.
I'm thinking Kyle Wiltshire freshman year. He hit a 3-pointer in every single tournament game except for the national championship game. It went in and out. Coach Ty in the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. Coach Ty says, we talked about this earlier, I think for him to get to that next level lottery, I think he's talking about Malachi, he's going to have to put that ball on the ground. He's going to have to initiate the offense a little bit, develop a better shot, and shoot some threes. He's not going to be as quick as Amari, but what he can make up is he can make it up in basketball IQ and passing. That can outweigh the quickness part that he doesn't have. Kind of echoing what you said, Zach. And I have high expectations for Malachi. It's funny, when the season started last year, I think it was the Well, actually, it was the Purdue game. And when Malachi's running the floor and he's playing good defense, getting blocks, getting rebounds, and I'm like, I didn't think this guy was going to play all that much, and now he looks like the best center out there, and he ended up being that. I know the end of the season did not go the way that maybe didn't go the way he wanted it to. Yeah. So how does he avoid doing that this year, and how does he avoid a sophomore slump? We saw it with in a lesser. Well, actually, Trent Noah is an interesting story because the freshman year he actually overachieved, and he gets to his sophomore year, and we have higher expectations for him, and he doesn't hit those. They're very different players, very different skill sets, and very different. I think there's a pretty big gap as far as talent goes. But how does Malachi avoid a sophomore slump this year?
Well, I think he's already on. I think he's taking the right steps to do it. Like when we did the interviews last week, we were talking about conditioning and diet and just things like that, like how to keep yourself in the best shape. He said that he's no more Raising Cane's, no more Taco Bell. He says we're cutting out the bad food. He said he lost 10. He said when he got to UK last year, he was just trying to put on weight because he just needed to put on more weight to be able to compete and bang with those guys in the SEC. And some of that was just bad weight, like the Canes and the Taco Bell and just not eating properly. And that can hurt your conditioning and everything. So he said that he's cut all that stuff out. He lost 10 pounds from the time the season ended until last Thursday. So that's 2-3 months. He'd already lost 10 pounds. And he said he's going to add that back on throughout the summer with good weight. So that's, I'm sure just eating a bunch of protein or, just taking as much protein as you can and eating a lot all the time, eating a bunch of good, healthy stuff, and then just doing a bunch of conditioning drills and trying to make it so he can get to that 30 minutes per game because he did wear down last season. Like, I don't know if he thinks that or if he would admit that or not, but that's just kind of what it looked like from my perspective was he just the role of being the starting center and not expecting it just kind of caught up to him and not being conditioned to where he needed to be and not having the right diet going into the season. Like that stuff all seems like it's changed. So I think that's a major step in getting him to that 30 minutes a game like he needs to. As for a sophomore slump, like, I don't know. A lot of that's just mental stuff, really. Like I'm sure he might have a couple of bad games early on, stuff like that.
That's what Holly says. She said in our YouTube chat, I think Noah's was all in his head.
I mean, with Trent, like I think he'd probably even tell you that. Like, I mean, he went a whole month. He went an entire month of basketball without hitting a 3-pointer. And they were good looks too. And like the guy made like 400 3-pointers in high school. So that it wasn't like, it's just not, you don't forget how to shoot like that. Like sometimes you just get a little case of the yips. So we'll see if that, kind of changes for him going into next season. He's just because his playing time is going to be sporadic and limited again, I'm sure, next season. So whenever he goes in there, he's going to have to make these shots count. He's going to have to hit them because if he goes another month without hitting a 3-pointer, he's just not going to play.
Yeah.
Because last year he kind of had to a little bit with some of the injuries and stuff. So he just won't play if that happens this season. So I'm not really worried about a sophomore slump with Malachi, though. I think he's right in between the years. He'll be okay. He might have a bad game here and there, but I don't see him going weeks at a time where it's like, what's wrong with Malachi? Like, I think he'll be pretty good, pretty productive. Because really, as long as he's rebounding and blocking and protecting the paint and then just being able to – because a sophomore slump, I feel like, would be like, oh, he's just missing every shot. Well, the guy only shot
so that's a good point.
Layups last year anyways.
That's not what he does. Right. That's a good point. So,
I don't
outside
think
of
– shooting 15 shots a game, it'll be the similar number that he was last year.
It'll be mostly effort based, is basically what you're saying. So outside of Malachi, what was something that from Jack's report, and I know again, I won't go through all of it. I'll go through a few more points when Brandon comes on. But outside of that, what stood out from you? What stood out to you from Jack's practice intel report yesterday?
Well, I'll give two, and I won't really. I mean, the Diallo and Alex Wilkins tidbits, like that's now two straight times Jack's given us an update where both those guys have been like at the very top, saying that they look good, they look the part. That's kind of what I've always expected. Like that doesn't surprise me. That's kind of what I was expecting. That's pretty much necessary. Like those two guys, especially Zoom, who's played 2 years at the college, like at big time. Well, not big time. He's at Washington, but still Power 4 level, playing really good competition. Zoom needed to come in right away and be like the guy. It sounds like Alec Wilkins is kind of already, following suit and being there as well. So that kind of just takes away some whatever. If I was going to have any worries about this team, it was going to be, do they actually, is the backcourt not as good as I think it is? Well, so far it sounds like they are as good as I think it is. So I think off the bat, I love that. Everything else, like, there's not any like two major things in there. I will say that Mason Williams stuff,
that was interesting to me as well.
It's very interesting, just from the fact that, like, you have Alex Wilkins and Zoom Diallo kind of plugged in as your 1 and your 2. Jerome Morton is kind of your combo guard off the bench who can kind of do both of those, the 1 and the 2. But you still would like to have another point guard, like a real point guard, and it didn't feel like, Zion Hawthorne's maybe the other guy. I don't know what the expectations really are for him. But with Mason Williams, like, he was trending to be, a top 75 recruit. If he had like an extra couple months, he probably gets there. But him, like, and if no one's watched the interview that we did with him last week, it's on the KSR YouTube channel. That kid he's a smart kid.
I love his demeanor.
He's definitely, you can tell that he's a little bit PR trained. I'm sure having his dad as a coach and being in the NBA helped him a little bit with that.
Yeah.
Like that kid knows what he's talking about. He's really smart. He was like, he said he wants to be the hardest worker ever at UK. My favorite quote that he said was like, I think it was Jack actually asked me, like, what would you tell yourself, 3 or 4 years ago? And he's like, I told him to love basketball sooner. He's like, because like I work hard now. Like, imagine if I had taken it more seriously 3 years ago, like I could be so much better. So that, and he said a bunch of other stuff that just sounded like he was a little bit, a couple years ahead of his actual age where his head is at. So I really liked that. And if he can be a guy that actually comes in and like is a decent, like, just don't come in and screw everything up. Like, if you can be the real backup point guard and play 5, 8, 10 minutes a game, that'd be awesome. That would just kind of be like a bonus surprise. I don't know how much I'm really expecting that still. We'll see like when the season gets around, but yeah, Mason Williams, it's definitely nice to hear him popping up in practice reports like this, just because it feels like it kind of validates some of the stuff I've been hearing from him in these interviews. From like, this kid seems like he seems like the real deal. So you just got to give him a little bit more time to develop. And he's built like a fire hydrant. I mean, he's listed at 210 pounds, 6'3". Yeah. Like, that is a stout point guard. So he's gonna be tough to, like, you don't have to worry about the SEC guards kind of getting into him. Like, he might not be actual 6'3" like he's listed. He might be like 6'1", 6'2", whatever it is. But even still, if you're 210 pounds, like, you can, if you got that Jalen Brunson build, like you can bully your way into some points.
Are we comparing Mason Williams to Jalen Brunson?
You heard it here first. Go ahead.
There it is. There we go.
Whatever bigbluenation.net website you got. So
Zack Geoghegan of KSR says he'll say a lot more when we come back. We got Brandon Ramsey is going to join us for the final segment. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. We'll be back right after this. All right. Let me get Brandon in here. And
Ollie. Mason is thick.
All right. Brandon, where are you at right now?
I am on like the north side of Indianapolis on my way to Chesterton High School to watch some basketball this evening.
Hell yeah. We're going to play a fun little game here too. So if you guys stick around in the chat. And Zach, we didn't get very many Office references. We got in the zone and then I forgot.
It's got to be just more organic, Like,
it does.
If you force them, then you're
not wrong.
I wonder if Brandon knows the answer to that trivia question that we got. Yeah,
Brandon's an Office guy. Do you know what the number they type into the calculator in the opening credits is? What the number is?
Gosh. No.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Zach, do you remember it off the top of your head?
I was like 9568, 9563.
I think it was 9653.
Okay, so I had the combo.
Incredible trivia question.
I know that. I was like, okay, that's a sicko pool right there. Like, if you actually know that one.
It is kind of weird though. It's like, that's something I've probably literally seen like 10,000
1,000 times.
But you just don't think of it. Like, it doesn't really register.
That was exactly what I said. I was like, I've literally seen Kevin type it in 1,000 times. Like, I even know who's typing it in. I know the finger that is hitting those buttons.
Yeah.
But I could not tell you the four digits.
Holly, thank you.
Hey, what's up, Holly? Shout out.
I will not be watching a ton of the draft tonight, if I'm being honest. I'll have it on. It'll be on silent while I watch some World Cup stuff. I just can't. I just don't get into it. I don't like it. I don't watch the NFL draft. I can't believe people do it. I can't believe they sit there and watch 3 hours of, well, this guy is, he's going to be a contributor in a few years, but I just can't do it.
They used to do both rounds in one night. The draft would end at 1 a.m.
I'm actually fine with that because I'm not watching it anyways, and then you get it all done. But I know that the NFL draft, they try to make it like a TV event, and it just doesn't hit for me. And same with NBA.
There's just too many breaks. Like you get 5 minutes in between each pick. You just want to know the picks,
and and they give you the list as soon as it's done. Like you can go online and just look it up. It's not like you're watching a game where there's drama that you're going to miss out on. No, they're just picking the players.
Information. Yeah.
Sometimes they get like some trades right before, things like that happen. Like every now and then you'll get a weird trade, but I think a lot of people were hoping the Giannis trade would happen like right before the draft.
We'll do some Brandon. I don't know if you saw Jack's practice intel. I know you did. You tweeted it, but I'll have you pick out what was your favorite part from it, or the part that stuck out the most, and then and like I said, guys, since we're still on the YouTube channel, Jack will have a sources say at some point, and he'll go through it even more in depth. So be looking for that as well here on the channel. We are on a commercial break on the radio. Be sure to check out Kentucky Roll Call Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. It's perfect. It's right after KSR. It's right after the radio show gets done. 12 to 2, Monday through Friday on Big X Sports Radio, bigxsportsradio.com, and they now stream on YouTube on Big X Sports Radio's YouTube channel. I'm waiting on Trevor Kelsey's signal here that we're back. Let's see if Trevor, he has no idea he's on the screen. There's none. Oh, that's fun. There was somebody giving Hell's Itch advice in the Game Day Men's Health text line, and it's a lot. If you guys listened to the show yesterday, we did a segment yesterday on Hell's Itch. It's where you get a bad sunburn, and then a couple of days later you get this really bad, like fire ants are all over your body. It's terrible. I might do a little YouTube video about it. Might do a KSR Explains.
I'm kind of feeling it right now. I was out on the boat on Saturday, and I got a little...
You don't want this. I'm telling you. There are people who said that women who've gone through childbirth that say they would have 100 kids before they'd ever deal with Hell's Itch again. So, all right, welcome back to Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio. Thank you, Trevor. Trevor letting us know we are live on the air. So I do have to be careful of that. Yesterday I didn't make the claim, but somebody did on a subreddit that having Hell's Itch, Trevor, is worse than childbirth.
Yeah, I've said some questionable things on the airways of Big X. You might have me topped on that one. There are a few things I've learned in my many, many decades on this world, despite my lack of success with women, are 1, never say yes, you look fat, and 2, never say anything that you do as a man is worse than childbirth. Like if you do that, and I know Stephen will have a happy marriage, and you guys, if you're not married, you will be happy as well. Just stick to those 2 rules. Plus, don't ever get a woman that has a dagger tattoo. Just stay away from them.
Zachary NB Hagan is getting married in September 12th, right. I believe it is. I know that because it's the same day as Kentucky, Alabama.
Yeah, do you want to give them the exact location too and the time of when it starts?
I was going to go ahead and give them your address so they know where to send the gifts and everything else.
Well, actually, yeah.
If it's on that game date, no one's going to show up anyway, dude. So you might as well out the address.
I'm going to try to be there, Zach. Okay. All right. So we were talking before the break about some of the takeaways from Jack Pilgrim's intel piece from practice. Now joining us alongside Zach Geoghegan is Brandon Ramsey. B-Ram, as I like to call him, and no one else likes to call him. He doesn't even like me calling him that. But B-Ram, how are you doing today? And what do you think about the intel from yesterday?
Doing well, Stephen. Thanks for having me on for another fun little KSR Takeover Tuesday.
Yeah, where are you at again?
What's that?
Where are you at?
I am in a McDonald's parking lot.
Hell yeah.
Just north of Indianapolis. I'm on my way to Chesterton High School up in Northwest Indiana. Going to watch some high school basketball this evening, do what I do.
Sounds like a made-up town.
Yeah. It's up in the region, near Gary and maybe near the new Bears Stadium. Who knows? But anyway, back to Kentucky basketball and Jack Pilgrim. I mean, to me, how can you not be excited about, in his words, the co-MVPs of the first week or so of practice being Zoom Diallo and Alex Wilkins? Like, I think if you can have that level of upgrade in the backcourt for Kentucky, where those guys are the players that we think they possibly could be. Zoom Diallo was a 5-star, highly touted prospect coming out of high school. Has obviously put up some good numbers at Washington, but it hasn't necessarily translated to winning. But we know the talent is there with Zoom Diallo. And then with Alex Wilkins, we all saw on film, watching Furman in the NCAA tournament, whatever it may be, like there's legitimate star potential there. There's a reason why he took the reins right away, was one of the highest usage players in college basketball, had a 30-plus % assist rate, scored it a bunch, and led a team to an NCAA tournament and had like 22 points against UConn in the first round. Like, that is a guy who's going to be a star at the high major level at some point. So hearing those guys are already kind of learning how to play with each other, off of each other in practice, I think is a really, really encouraging thing early on here in the summer. Because I think, you know what you're going to get out of Milan Momcilovic. He's going to be a 15, 16 point per game guy. He's going to make, a boatload of 3-point shots.
Mm-hmm.
You need some of these other guys to step up and be all SEC caliber players, whether it's guards, whether it's Malachi Moreno, whoever it may be. But hearing that these two guards are already kind of playing up to that level, and obviously, June basketball doesn't win you games in November, December, January, etc. But it's still good to hear that those guys are maybe living up to their potential early on here in Lexington.
No, I love that. I mean, obviously, those two guys are crucial to Kentucky's success. And Alex Wilkins, as I've said before, if he can be the guy that you saw in that UConn game, Kentucky might actually have something here. And there's just this team, I think, is for me, at least right now, I'm taking in all the intel that I can and trying to make sense of it, because I feel like there's just so many question marks on this team. Somebody in the chat asked about Njai. And I know Jack has said that there has been a lot of high praise for Usman so far in practice, that he runs like a deer and shoots the ball well. Like they said, I know Jack said, how many times am I going to do that, Zach? How many more times?
At least 2. It's fun.
All right. You're cool with it? Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the few things that Jack has said is that they're really impressed with Usman's shooting. I mean, that could be, and then the stuff with McBride, like the kid here in that position might be more of a battle. Zach, I mean that should make Kentucky fans pretty excited.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. The discussions when we've done our Zoom action breakdown of both McBride and Usman, that's kind of been our internal debate, Brandon and I, is which one of those guys is going to start. Like, who's kind of the guy, at least maybe early on in the season, like who's going to start, who's going to take up the most minutes at that 4 spot. It's definitely nice to hear both of them kind of having some standouts at times in practice so far. But Usman it's kind of hard to understate how just important it is to get on campus now instead of the middle of August, like with Yelovich. Like that's a huge thing.
Big Z.
I know on Usman's Kentucky profile page, he describes himself as shy. I think it was Mason Williams said that Usman's a quiet guy. So he probably needs just a couple of weeks just to kind of, get more comfortable, feel like he's himself around these guys as well. And then once that happens, then maybe he can really start, starting to actually show out and, maybe take a little bit more upon himself. And that'll be huge throughout the rest of the summer, and just being able to get in here earlier as opposed to some of these other international guys who haven't. So, it'll be interesting to see how much or what the practice intel continues to be with those two. Because it's going to be I do think it's still, I don't know what your all's opinions are. I'm sure Pope has an idea in his head of who's going to be the starter for there, but I would still kind of classify it as a toss up. If it was just me, I would probably start McBride just for the experience of it. And then if Usman can continue to grow and produce, maybe then he ends up being that guy that takes over as the starter. But I could see those guys interchanging between 22, 24 minutes a game on any given night. But I think it's probably a toss-up right now of who actually starts, which is probably a good problem to have, a little competition there as well. So
I love it. It's the position that I've been kind of worried about. That's the one spot right now that assuming Momcilovic plays the 3. Brandon, I know you all had this debate on Zoom Action about who should play the 3, should play the 4. Honestly, like if you can tell me that McBride and Usman are guys who can go in and I mean be productive, then it's very easy, right? Momcilovic plays the 3.
Right. I think so. I mean, and that was one of the things I brought up, in our various Zoom Action breakdowns or, on this show when we've had these conversations that, I've probably been more on the skeptical side of what Usman Njai could bring to the table here, especially right away at Kentucky. And, if he is so talented that he's going to push for, not just minutes right away, but a starting role right away, then I do think that makes that roster construction much more clear, because I do think that you're going to get 15, 20, 25 minutes, whatever you need out of Justin McBride. Like, he's played college basketball enough now. The talent is there. The skill level is there. The versatility is there. He's going to be able to play kind of like whatever role you need him to play at that 4 spot. So I think if you're able to get the rest of those minutes from Usman Njai, then that's just a bonus, not just for what it says about his talent and the talent at the 4 spot for Kentucky, but then I think then also being able to allow Milan Momcilovic to play probably his more natural position at the 3. It probably help. It certainly helps you then be bigger across the board. You're going to be able to rebound a little bit better, because we know Momcilovic is not much of a rebounder. So that would
right.
be a concern of having him at the 4 spot would be, like, are we going to be able to defensive rebound away from the 5?
Yep.
So yeah, I think, we've talked about it all summer so far.
We will continue to talk about it all summer.
We got 3 more months of this, buddy.
Yes, we do.
I think Kentucky needs a guy like Usman Njai or Braden Hawthorne, or maybe even like if it's Mason Williams. Like, I don't really care who it is, but like one of these names that's sort of maybe on the outskirts of the rotation picture, like one of those guys needs to hit and be a real player. And it ultimately probably doesn't necessarily matter who it is, but I think that with the pro experience, with the ability to stretch the floor in the front court, there's a lot of reasons to believe that it very well could be Usman Njai.
So, again, Jack Pilgrim will have a source to say, but he'll break down this stuff. He'll go real in depth for about an hour about it, and that'll be on KSR's YouTube channel as well. But before we close out the show today, I wanted to, first of all, say this. Are you guys more excited for the NBA draft or TBT? Because I know where I sit on this. Zach, TBT, NBA draft.
I mean, TBT, because I'll be there.
Hell yeah. Brandon, you're more into the TBT, right?
Well,
I don't think you could pick.
I'm the resident TBT hater, and I'm also a longtime lover of the NBA draft.
Oh, come on.
Admittedly, like I like for as good as this draft is, I didn't really even know it was tonight until like very.
Well, there you go. Okay.
But it's like the top of this draft is so exciting, Steven. You have AJ Davansa.
Yeah, we went through it. We're gonna.
I don't think who's gonna go.
Okay.
1 through 3 either. Like, I think there's still going to be some excitement. I do think, like, once you start getting it after the lottery, though, that's when the draft really starts to lose some of its luster. Even when
exactly. I'm not going to be watching. You guys have fun with that tonight, though. But the TBT, guys, coming up soon. Willie Cauley-Stein. He played in 19, or I guess teams he was on, played in 19 postseason games. I think that's right. The over-under for this is set at 19. So you have to decide if what I ask you is over 19 or under 19. You got it?
Okay.
You'll get it. You'll get it as we go along. So, all right. So the first question is, once I can get, if I can even get this up, there we go. That's what she said. Thank you, Michael Scott.
There you go.
Okay. These will be half sports and non-sports. Number of amendments in the U.S. Constitution, over under 19.
Oh, you're gonna actually do like questions that make me so people are gonna know if I'm an idiot or not.
I get to feel smart because I'm asking the questions I already know the answers to.
I think it's over, right?
Are we both answering? It's over.
Yes. There you go. That's fun. All right. Teams who have won the NBA Finals. So this is different teams who have won the NBA Finals since 1985. Over under is 19.
Well, we just had 8 different ones, but some of those were also repeats. I'll say under.
Under.
I'm gonna give you a number. I'm gonna say 15.
You got it. You got 15. Exactly, right on the nose.
Zack
How about that?
Geoghegan.
All right.
NBA Geoghegan. Geoghegan NBA. I like this.
Oh, we already did that one. We already did that one.
Background music.
Yep. Sorry, they're all over the place. Okay, men's basketball teams to win the NCAA title since 1985. Over under 19.
Oh.
Under.
You go first, Brandon.
Oh man, I just realized something about this one. It is a trick question.
Is the number 19?
The number is 19. Yes. Okay. There we go. Good job, guys.
3 questions in.
I know. I think I meant to do the football one because it was at 19. But yes, basketball.
Like when you go all in on roulette and you get the freaking like green 00.
Has that happened to you before, Brandon? That sounds like a personal experience.
Number of Kentucky players on NBA playoff rosters this year. Over under 19.
Playoff rosters. Are we counting Adu Thiero?
Yes.
Because I think it's 18. I think it's under.
I would have guessed over, but Geoghegan says under. So
It's unbelievable. Geoghegan is unbelievable because the answer is 18.
oh my goodness, this guy's cooking.
Do you want to see if I can rattle them all off?
Yeah, well, let's get through the rest, and then I want to see if you can get them all. We definitely want to do that. How many U.S. presidents have been elected at least twice? The question really isn't how many. It's number of presidents elected at least twice.
I'm going to say under.
Over under 19.
I'm going to say under 2.
It is under. So despite having 47 presidents, technically 45, you guys are you all batting 1,000 right now?
So far, yeah.
Good, yeah.
All right. How many Major League Baseball teams have won the World Series since 1985? Over under 19.
I have no idea.
I'll
say over.
Under 2, yeah.
So wait, is this the first time you guys are? Wait, you guys are disagreeing?
I'll say over.
Zach has over. Brandon has under. It's 21.
Woo.
There is more parity in Major League Baseball than there is in college basketball.
ML Geoghegan now too. MLB Geoghegan.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. We'll figure
Under
it out.
Smithsonian's broad definition of war, the amount of years the U.S. has been at peace. Over under 19.
What does that even mean?
Well, I feel like you're giving the answer away with the question. I'll say over.
Yeah, let's go over.
25 years at peace, the United States. Boom. So you guys got them all right, except Brandon got one wrong in our over-under there. Zach, can you name them all? Name all the NBA, all the Kentucky players who participated in the NBA playoffs this year.
Okay. So you got Shea, Devin Booker, Karl-Anthony Towns, Emmanuel Quickly was on a roster. Do we count him? He didn't play, but he was on a roster.
Yeah. If he's on a roster, yeah, that counts.
Okay. Are we counting? We're not counting playing then either, right?
Because
then it would be more.
Okay. No, I guess not. I guess
more.
not.
All right. Well, so let me start over. Shea, Devin Booker, Cat, Emmanuel Quickly, Amari Williams, Olivier Sarr, Adu Thiero, Jared Vanderbilt. I tried to get the deep cuts out of the way there. Tyrese Maxey, Justin Edwards. Let's see.
Justin Edwards. I would not have gotten that one.
Justin Edwards was one. Let's see. Let me go on my teams. We got Fox, Keldon Johnson. That's 12. Cason Wallace, 13. I'm trying to go team by team now. Who else was in it? Wolves were in it. So you got 14. Julius Randle. Shout out to the Brooklyn Nets. Oh God, now I'm starting to slow down.
What are we up to, Brandon? What's the count?
I was at 14. Yeah, so
man,
I got 4 more. Oh God, now I'm just forgetting. I'm sure I'm forgetting another big name.
You said Keldon, right? You said Keldon, didn't you? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you said the one that's right behind you?
Reed Shepherd. No, I did not. Yes, he was in there as well. He played some games. That's 16. Or that's 15.
15, yeah. So Zack needs 3 more. There are 3 more Kentucky players who are on a playoff roster this year. Zack has 15 of the 18 so far.
I don't have the names I've written down in front, or that I've just listed off in front of me, so I'm not entirely sure. Brandon, do you got any other ones? I'm trying to think. Let's go team by team. Who else? What were the teams? We had the Cavs, Celtics, Magic, Knicks, Sixers. I think I got all those guys. The Heat didn't make it into the playoffs. Oh, gosh.
While you're thinking, DOK in our chat says, I'd love to see Willie Cauley-Stein back in the NBA and possibly backing up Cat at the Knicks. I think that we need Cat backing up Willie Cauley-Stein at La Familia. And I am so pumped for this tournament. I just like watching basketball, guys. And I'd rather watch basketball than watch the commissioner renames of basketball players for 2.5 hours. So I'm all in on TBT over NBA draft. Sorry, Brandon.
That's okay.
Willie has said that this is his retirement tour. This year's TBT is the last time he's playing basketball. He is.
Yeah, I know. So it's his going away tournament. That means people got to pack out. I'm assuming the games are Memorial, right, Zach?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so you're missing 2 more still, right?
Yeah.
If you think of those.
I'm looking. I'm cheating now. I'm looking them up.
Oh no.
Shaden
All right.
Sharp with the Blazers.
Trevor, how much time we got? How much?
Yeah, 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Perfect. That's the perfect amount of time that I need.
Kobe Bryant.
Oh, yeah, that's another one. So assuming that Kentucky does not land Nikola, then who does Pope get for his 15th roster spot?
Jamal Murray. I'm an idiot.
Then he's not going to land Jamal Murray. Zach.
No, sorry. I'm doing the whole other thing in my head. Shout out to S Vest in the chat for saying Jamal Murray.
That's still pretty good, Zach. Don't beat yourself up. That's 15 of 18. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's an impressive performance. In my opinion, like I would just go back to what my opinion was before we heard of Nikola, and that's that like we're gonna hold walk-on tryouts, and it's gonna be Zach Towles Little from the fraternity last year.
What about Zach Geoghegan?
Yeah, maybe he could re-enroll in school.
Sign me up, coach.
But I just there might have been something specific about this international opportunity that made Coach Pope pursue it. Was unique, but I think otherwise, if that falls through, I just don't see it being a meaningful piece because there's just probably not a whole lot of people that be interested in entering into this situation right now. There's not a whole lot of opportunity. I think it would end up being either a glorified walk-on or a very legitimate walk-on.
That's kind of what I thought they were going to do anyways. And that's why losing out on this kid didn't bother me because I was like, somebody I didn't even hear of before, and now I have to be upset that Mark Pope's not landing him. Did anybody got any thoughts on that? No, yeah, it was just anybody. Yeah, I just thought it was ridiculous that everybody got upset again because he didn't land a guy that we didn't know about. I think that Brandon's right. They're gonna fill the 15th spot with basically a glorified walk-on position.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there would be value in getting Nikola for the 2 years because that second year is really where he could take off and be like a guy, like a potential All-SEC, All-American type guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have that potential as year one. It's just hard. It's just hard to project.
So let him go play for Mick Cronin and then transfer after that season, right?
There we go.
If he still wants to play college basketball after spending a year with Mick Cronin, then yes, we'll gladly take him here in Lexington. But that would be enough to send anyone back to.
Well, and of course we didn't talk about this today, but the 5-for-5 rule that they're discussing with the NCAA, you can get Momcilovic back for a second season as well. That could be big.
That would be something.
Yeah.
More money there than the NBA still probably.
Yeah, I still think if they have the 5-for-5 rule, I think he might come back. He might get paid more again to come back and play a second year in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Guys, I appreciate you all coming on. Again, you can check out Kentucky Roll Call Monday through Friday on Big X Sports Radio and BigXSportsRadio.com. I appreciate Brandon Ramsey coming on, Zack Geoghegan, Nick Roush, Trevor Kelsey back at the station. And we'll be back on tomorrow. We're going to have Jeff Milby from Louisville City FC come on. We're going to talk about the American culture, the American sports culture that is taking over the world's game on the biggest stage. I'm loving it, and it's how you grow the game in America. You got to have people like doing the tomahawk chops. They like the Mo Bamba. Got to bring it to the soccer pitch, if you will, guys. We'll have him on tomorrow, and then, of course, trivia on Thursday, and Coach Ty will be with us on Friday. So check in for more Kentucky Roll Call. We will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for listening to Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio.